In the Integrity Ignite Series, last week was a road trip from the sunny shores of Daytona Beach up to the Watkins Glen International Circuit for 40 laps of road course racing. Tonight, we're back on the ovals, but it's a bit of a different look. This time, we're taking it across the pond for the United States all the way to Japan. For the first time this season, the Ignite Series goes international as we head to the Twin Ring Motegi for the Do The Move podcast 100 laps tonight for over 150 miles of racing, and right now, qualifying on its way. Going to be 8 flat minutes of time remaining, and right now, defending winner Thomas Bressi is going to be on your screen. Great to have you all live on FTN yet again. I'm your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz, and after a few days away myself at the real Watkins Glen, great to be back with you. Just got home a few hours ago and looking to see some great racing with these Xfinity Series machines in the virtual realm. NASCAR has not gone to the Twin Ring Motegi Oval Circuit in over 25 years. Last time they visited this track was 1998, so here on iRacing, we get to bend the rules a bit and take you to this track whenever we please. This is the very first time a Japanese oval has seen its stay on the schedule, and tonight is the big test. Is this track worth keeping for years to come? Right now, it looks like for Anthony DeBarro, he might be saying yes. He's currently provisional pole, and he's going to go back down to pit road yet again. Matthew Thunhorst going to be on the way in the number 8 machine. Now, important to note this season, 4 qualifying laps, so drivers have a bit more time if they want to get a bit more in their qualifying session. Maybe put a bit more power down. You don't have the basic 2. We saw it last season, did not mention it, but now some drivers taking it down at pit road already, calling it a day. Blake Gordon coming through as well. Number 13 machine thinks he's done and done, and Thomas Bressi now going to pit road as well. Many drivers making it in as Chad Cole looks to be done. Number 17 machine going to be 4th position. Very good run so far for the number 17 Ford Mustang, backing it down and parking it just after the first 2 turns. Brandon Bernhardt going to be one of the many drivers who are taking laps so far. One of the few who has not gotten a registered lap in just yet. At the line for Brandon, that's going to be a 37.587. It's going to put him 24th, about 0.3 of a second off your pole sitter, but still very far down the running order. Cody Smith going to be on the way as well, the Next Level Racing number 18, and Cody right now has scored in the 27th spot. Not good so far, but getting some extra practice laps to make sure as time goes on that he can make it perfect. It's not always about your qualifying position. This track is, of course, an unknown. Very first time many of these drivers have taken it to the track, and over 30 of which have taken it to the session so far. I'm sure not all of them have experience. In all honesty, more than half of them might have never turned a lap here before today. That's going to change, of course, but for Cody Smith, certainly some growing pains, and he's going to have to find a bit more speed as the race goes on. Alec Daffin going to be in a similar spot right now. Not the best first lap for the number 48. It was a 48-second lap. Now trying to put the hammer down and get himself on the qualifying sheets, but it won't work. Daffin gonna have damage. That's going to end his qualifying stint. No time put on the board for the number 48 of Alec Daffin, and it looks like number 48 for Shaw Racing is down and in. Certain drivers are still on the track right now, but nobody's taking a time, so it looks like qualifying already all but concluded, and with 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining on the board, drivers still going around. One man who looks to be happy with his time currently is Anthony DeBarro, as the number 27 still sits atop the charts. Tyler Hensley going to be now 7th. Chad Cole going to be dropped down into 5th as Nicholas Cohan goes up into 3rd in the number 21. Cohan going to be there, and Cody Smith comes around the line yet again. Drivers who have yet to go out on the track include the following: Trevor Trago and his number 37. Alec Daffin has no time, but DJ Stagner, Christopher Matthews, and Boomer Logan have yet to head on the track. Only driver right now who's taking any laps is the number 18 of Cody Smith. Chris Gabot going to go up to the 23rd spot in his qualifying run. Number 5 machine going to be there just behind Forrest Smith and Joe Dinsmore. All that said, Now, it looks like qualifying truly has been all but concluded. The track may close down for inactivity very soon, as the few drivers who have not taken times have chosen not to head out on the track. So iRacing going to give these guys a timer. If you don't get on the track within a certain amount of time, that's it. On to second practice and eventually on to the race. Sun has been setting, and it was much more noticeable earlier in the night, but as you can see, the sun not particularly shining any longer. It should be a night race as the hours go by, so it's going to be a much different track in terms of conditions, how it handles, how it performs. You're going to see drivers, of course, right now losing it off the corners, not all too much grip. That is bound to change. It's going to be a much different scenery at the end of 100 laps than it is right now, and drivers will have to continue adapting if they want any opportunity to come home as a race winner. Now it looks like Cody Smith going to take it around for what is his 7th practice lap, as we will bring you your starting grid. Qualifying all but concluded with over 25 times already taken and some familiar faces yet again at the front of the board. So without further ado, let's get right into it and see your first international starting grid of the season. This is the Integrity Ignite Series Do The Move Podcast 100, and it's time to see what's up here in Japan. Anthony DeBarro going to be there in the number 27 machine. It's going to be at 37.192, the pole time to beat, and Matthew Thunhorst then going to be second right there with 37.256 for the number 8 machine. Thunhorst back at the ovals here looking to secure another solid finish, as he's got Nicholas Cohan in third and Nick Tarbuck in fourth to round out the top 5. Chad Cole with a very impressive qualifying performance puts that number 17 there with the number 37.298 on the flying lap. Michael Stroll going to be position number 6 with a 37.302, and Tyler Hensley going to be inside the top 10, qualifying 7th with a 37.312, just ahead of Timothy Johnston and his 37.344. Blake Gordon going to be position number 9, number 13, and to round out the top 10, it'll be Chad Mikas as the 25 finds himself there with a 37.356. Thomas Bressie going to be position number 11, defending winner. Jacob Fife going to be 12th, and Brian McFerrin will be 13th, with Justin Morton in the 14th spot, and then Alan Dobbs holding his own in 15th. Going to be Don Stevenson, position number 16, and then Kyle Cooper in 17th, inside of row number 9, only 2 1,000ths of a second ahead of Sean Carmody, returning for the first time since Daytona in his number 40, and Carmody only has a 2 1,000th of a second advantage ahead of Travis McChristian, the number 93, who got it all done at Daytona. Then from there, you'll see Gael Brooks in the 20th position, and it'll be Joe Dinsmore in 11th. Ford Smith going to be 22nd with Chris Cabot 23rd. Casey Shoe's going to be 24th with Brandon Bernhardt 25th, and Rob Athley is in 26th with Cody Smith, the final man to take a time, 27th with a 38.315. Boomer Logan going to be 28th with Trevor Trago 29th. It'll be Alec Daffin scored right now in the 30th position, and to round out the field, it'll be Christopher Matthews and DJ Stagner on the final row in the Do The Move Podcast 100. Welcome to the Twin Ring Motegi International Racing yet again. That is your starting grid. Cody Smith still taking times, but as we see, it's going to be qualifying over. Now on to second practice, and it looks like drivers going to be given the opportunity one more time to improve what they have inside the cockpit. And right now facing a blank slate here, that's going to be the wall just beyond the pit road barrier. And we're going to now take a look at some drivers just to avoid that. It looks like second practice going to be skipped by the admin team, and just like that, we are off to the races. Second practice going to be done away with for the remainder of this event. Now the starting grid is in frame, and Anthony DeBarro in the number 27 machine finds himself on the inside line. Matthew Thunhorst there as well, and just behind, Nicholas Cohan and Nick Tarbuck. And as the field continues to populate right behind the iRacing official pace truck, Anthony DeBarro, the driver who got it done at Charlotte, and he got it done at our most recent mile and a half this year. That was the season finale for the 2023 A season, the longest race of the year to date, a 300-mile event, half-distance Coca-Cola 600. It was the Chance 3 Designs 300, and DeBarro able to take control. It was a long strategic race, only one caution, and then 180 laps of green flag racing, which got us to the end. Now, of course, much shorter race here tonight, coming in at only 100 laps. How about we get your FTN race info? There's a lot to learn about the Twin Ring Motegi, so let's dive right into it. Of course, let's give you first your FTN race rundown, and coming into this event, 100 laps at the just over 1.5 mile circuit, rounding it down to about 150 miles here. Going to be done with the NASCAR Xfinity Series machines, Supra, Mustang, and Camaro. All three seen in the real world. They'll be brought over in the virtual space, and of course, no fast repairs or instant damage repair. It's one and done. You've got what you got. Keep it in good shape, or you won't make it to the checkered flag. First international race this season, that's something to note. Just coming off the back of our first road race, now we'll take it overseas, and you can see the Japanese writing there on the sign just beyond pit road. Twin Ring Motegi, also written in English, so you know what track it is if you are an international traveler. One more piece of info, Thomas Bresci, defending winner, looking to get it done and make it back-to-back tonight. Qualifying just outside the top 10. It's possible. We'll see whether or not he's got the pace at the end of the day. Still a lot of time before the checkered flag falls. And as we mentioned, this is Japan. The Twin Ring Motegi has a road course configuration. However, we are here at the Oval in Tochigi, Japan. 4 turns, just about a mile and a half, and opened in the August of 1997. It's been a great time so far for this track. Seen Indycar, seen NASCAR, seen Super GT, and was only used once by NASCAR in the Coca-Cola 500, which was in 1998. Now, 25 years after that, it's time to see some stock cars pound the pavement in Japan yet again. iRacing official pace truck going to be down and in this time by, and Anthony DeBarro will lead us through to the green flag. Let's go racing in the Do The Move Podcast 100. We're green from Japan. And at the line, same leader, same story up ahead. Anthony DeBarro keeps his 1.5 mile talents, and it looks like he'll lead the first lap of the day. Nicholas Cohan going to be able to surge through and score himself in second, with Chad Cole now down to the inside line on Matthew Thunhorst. Matthew going to hold his head up high, keep the car there too, but Chad Cole is going to dive down low yet again, trying to make some spots up very early. Now you can see this is a 1.5 mile track. We gave you the FTN race rundown and track information, but it does not look like an American intermediate course. Looks a lot more, I would say, way out to a track. How about Darlington, New Hampshire? It's not the traditional cookie cutter shape. It's a lot more focused on keeping that pace lap after lap. You do have to let off. You do have to shift. We have special onboard camera access yet again, courtesy of defending race winner Thomas Bresci. We'll show that to you later in the going, but right now drivers are getting the feel of it in the pack. Many drivers practicing on their own earlier to get a better run in qualifying, but if you can't handle it with many drivers around you, no chance to keep it up in front as the race goes on. You got to be very good, have that awareness, and right now it looks like Michael Stroll with a beautiful number 38, special look there, reflective gold and all, and the AC Delco number 38 going to take it down to the bottom side yet again. Now going to have the advantage over Nick Tarbuck. Tarbuck going to go to the high side of the track and working out of the corner of a speed of 140 miles an hour. They'll get up to about 175 before letting off, and that's what DeBarro does anyway. SuperSpeedway, and Anthony going to take us through the 3 and 4 yet again. Nicholas Cohan going to be right with them, going to be second spot held by the number 21. Matthew Thunor is going to be there in third. First Chevrolet is going to be Michael Stroll, and the number 38 keeps the leaders company just behind the main pack. Right now, most drivers not very strung out. You can see Forrest Smith going to be 24th. We just took a shot to the middle of the pack here, and you'll see that number 84 machine trying to keep pace with Rob Ackley. Also, Chris Cabot right ahead. And as we look up throughout the field, most drivers right now are single file. Timothy Johnston going to be one of the few exceptions right now, but many drivers are trying to keep their cool, knowing there's still a ways to go until the checkered flag falls. You cannot risk losing your equipment. Not a lot drivers can do right now. If you are not good in qualifying, track position is major. You got to hold your track position if you want a chance to win, and right now the leaders have done a very good job of that. So if you're outside of the top 10, top 15, defend your position. Right now, Anthony DeBarro doing a very good job of defending his spot, keeps himself in the lead and has not relinquished it. He'll keep himself up in the top position with still some pressure from both Nicholas Cohan, and then it would be Thunhorst, Stroll, and Cole to round out the top 5. And going further on, it's going to be the number 82 of Timothy Johnston. Alan Dobbs going to be 13th here. You're taking a look at the middle of the pack yet again. Right now, not much variation in the line that drivers are choosing. The low line looks to be superior, and we'll take a few wider angles to show you all the pack in motion. Drivers go up high, of course, down the straightaways, but then you'll take a look at Alan Dobbs here, making his way back down low. Timothy Johnston there as well. Brian McFerrin tries the middle groove, but comes back down yet again, and once again 73 machine of Kyle Cooper there as well in the middle of the field. For DJ Stagner, he did miss the start for Boba Fett. Not good for your defending champion. 27 laps, of course, not down. 27 seconds down, 8 laps in. So Stagner not able to make it, had a missed start penalty, spent 19 seconds on pit road, and that's going to put him way beyond the pack. Right now, he is running laps that are equivalent to about the 20th place, so he has enough pace to catch up to some of these guys at the back, like Christopher Matthews, but Stagner has a ways to go if he wants any chance to make it back up there. DJ's very far off right now. He would need a caution, and right now these drivers have not been all too aggressive, so he has not gotten one. The blackout number 64 finds himself in his own world with Christopher Matthews still the second furthest driver out in the 31st position. Then there's Boomer Logan in 30th, Trevor Trago battling with Cody Smith, and for two drivers we have seen at least somewhat regularly up in front. Not very good start for both Cody Smith and Trevor Trago. Both of these drivers much more accustomed to running inside the top 10 and top 15. Now they're hardly inside the top 30. It looks like it has not been their day so far. Not the best qualifying efforts for the both of them, and they have not been able to make much up even in the early going. Not many major mistakes made by these drivers. They're just holding their own right now as Brandon Bernhardt right ahead goes on to the inside of Joe Dinsmore. Track position, name of the game so far, and nobody has been risking it. Looks like we're going to see some pit strategy the way things are going, which will keep DJ Stagner further out the loop. Stagner struggling big time so far, but he's 27 seconds behind and gaining only about 20-odd seconds behind Christopher Matthews, who finds himself now 9 seconds away from your race leader. Taking a look at DeBarro yet again, Anthony's got the lead. And it looks like the intermediates are still the best place to be for that number 27. If it's got the 1.5-mile distance on the track, you know he'll be up in front. But the big thing for DeBarro is finishing these races. We've seen nights like, of course, Rockingham, Las Vegas. Very quick, has some race-winning speed, just not able to take it to the end of the race. Of course, Charlotte able to put the pieces all together, come home with his very first win in this series, but he's looking for number 2. Has not yet been able to find it, but of course so early in the season, not too much to be afraid of. He's got a lot of time in that DeBarro sliders machine, looking to slice and dice through the field, and hopefully, now that he doesn't have to, bring home his first win. Nicholas Cohan going to see Michael Stroll has been making his way up, and Stroll has been able to climb up inside the podium, so now it's going to be two Supras right ahead. The leading Mustang is Matthew Thunhorst, and it looks like now Michael Stroll coming into his own 3 races into the season. Stroll is a very quick driver. We did not see all too much of him last season, not able to run full time, but when he returned, he did so with a bang, running very well at tracks like Dover, getting the win at Michigan, and now with an opportunity to fight for a championship, he'd love to put himself in the clash contention very early. Right now, the 38 machine finds himself on the back bumper of Cohan and gaining more and more. Taking a look yet again at the number 38 of Michael Stroll, here it is on board. And you can see Stroll right there trying to prioritize the exit. Cohan drove it a bit deeper into the entry. Not all too much though. The difference is minor. Right now it looks like Stroll is still trying to find those little advantages, and those little advantages will go a long way all throughout. Just like that, Michael Stroll going to lay back a bit more through the middle of the corner and try to use the exit of turn 2 to make it a bit better here in his AC Delco Chevrolet. Now, Michael Stroll running, as always, the AC Delco paint scheme, most often as a throwback to the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Busch Championship days. Back-to-back champion 1998 and 1999. Of course, Dale Jr., Dale Sr. both made the trek up to Japan for their one and only exhibition race here in the Twin Ring Motegi. I believe that's the very first time that Dale Jr. drove a Cup Series machine, at least in an officially sanctioned event. Jr., of course, rookie in 2000, got his Cup Series career started after a very successful tenure in the Busch Series, but before all that came into play, it was the matching Coca-Cola paint schemes, very well known. Trackhouse Racing did a throwback to them, and that's where it all began, really, for Dale Jr. in the Cup Series. Now, at that time in '98, he was in the Xfinity Series, then known as the Busch Series, so very fitting for Michael Stroll, looking to replicate that success and perhaps come home with his very first championship. You gotta get through with that window if you can fight for a title. DJ Stagner, your defending champion, had a win at Bristol. That sent him all the way. And now Michael Stroll looking to lock himself in, but we're still talking about the 2 drivers just ahead. Nicholas Cohan in the number 21 remains right behind Anthony DeBarro, still a quarter of a second separating your top 2 drivers, and not much has been done between the both of them. It looks like right now precision is a must, no mistakes being made. And right now, if anything happens, it would be a slip-up, as we just saw one further back in the pack. That looks to be the driver of the number 05, Alan Dobbs, getting very loose, able to recover it. And just like that, it looks like Dobbs able to get right back on the way. Tyler Hensley in the number 14 spot right now going to be just behind, and it looks like a bit of a separation between Dobbs, Hensley, and Timothy Johnston. Johnston getting the man right ahead, and the USAA machine back in competition. Johnston, always a solid competitor, right now running quietly inside the top dozen and looking for a bit more as the night goes on. It's going to be his Toyota Supra trying to match up with Brian McFerrin just ahead. McFerrin working on Jacob Fife here, and then Chad Mikas, Thomas Bressie, and Blake Gordon. Now as we go through live on FTN, Thomas Bressie giving us special coverage inside the cockpit for the number 24. Taking a look at the bottom right of your screen, there is the FTN battle cam, and for tonight, it's insider access to Thomas Bressie's Exalta Chevrolet. You'll see exactly how he goes through each and every corner at this track. We watched him during practice, and he is letting off big time during the corners and even shifting down a gear. That's how very, very precise you have to be. Getting those revs, getting that acceleration matters a ton through these corners. You're not carrying as much speed as an American Intermediate, so you have to make sure you carry as much as you can. Taking a look at how he goes through the corner yet again. There's the 24 once more. You can see very slight turning it to the left, getting the banking to do most of the work for him, and then getting back on the power down the straightaway. He's got Chad Mikus right behind, so in a very comfortable position. These two drivers working with each other, and they'll do so yet again as Bressie goes a bit higher that time around and trying to make it work, getting a bit more momentum to get to that back bumper on Blake Gordon. Now, the very nice thing about the driver of the number 24 here, Thomas Bressie, that is inside his virtual reality headset. An unbelievable perspective. It's as if he is inside the cockpit of this Chevrolet in the real world. It's about the most realistic perspective you can get as a driver on the sim, and there's going to be a big mistake avoided by Blake Gordon. Very nice recovery, and that's going to be the save that keeps him going inside this battle. Bressie, though, going to be able to avoid it, use that heads-up awareness, and get down to the bottom side, and you saw the pass in virtual reality there. Just like that, Bressie makes it through, and that's a look inside the FTN battle camera as we're now 21 laps in out of 100. Anthony DeBarro leads the way. Michael Stroll now going to be a second behind, and it looks like DeBarro trying to carve out a reputation as Mr. Intermediate. He's far ahead now, and he has that lead by over a full second. Looks like Michael Stroll able to get it done into the second spot, and one driver in the wall yet again. Alan Dobbs going to be in trouble. Alan going to be able to keep on going, and Tyler Hensley there with him, who dropped down to the bottom side. And just like that, the 46 machine makes the pass. Hensley, one of the drivers who competed in the bracket challenge last season, and although he was not able to have a very solid run in the final round of that bracket challenge, he came home as the very first bracket winner. Now, a part-time effort last season, coming back with a brand new number, switching from the number 5 to the number 46, and a gold reflection on that Exalta Chevrolet. Very similar paint scheme to Thomas Bressie, but unlike the signature green for the 24, it is a gold look, and it's a much different one, and it's still as striking as it gets. Right now, Hensley looking to put together a solid run to get himself a bit more accustomed to how this season will go, trying to get that solid footing. Ran very well at Watkins Glen, a very solid top 10, top 15 car, able to sneak inside the single digits later in the going. And as Alan Dobbs works his way down to the inside line yet again, Hensley choosing to work that high groove. Right now, it's not very developed, though, so we'll see whether or not it works, because Justin Morton's trying to file him out, too. And it looks like Morton there on the back bumper will try to go for the pass as well. And that was a big slip up for Hensley. It looks like getting filed out of line. It looks like Don Stevenson trying to get into it, but he is not close enough. It's a 2 for 1. It looks like Hensley going to be in the losing end of it, getting passed not once, but twice. And just like that, going to find himself in the 15th position now, very close to, of course, being in the top 10, now fading a bit further back. Just like that, it's going to be the Exalta number 46 of Tyler Hensley, now the 15th spot. Anthony DeBarro leads the way, and Michael Stroll not able to gain any time. So far, it has not been the night for any driver but DeBarro to be in the lead, but for Michael Stroll, still looking pretty good. And right now, looks like second place, very solid for him. Further back, Nick Tarbuck is battling, and he just got by for third. Looking at Nicholas Cohan there in fourth. Matthew Thunor's going to be fifth. It's a battle right now on the outside spot in the podium. Many drivers going for it, but only one can have it. That's the best Tarbuck has looked in quite some time, and it looks like just like that, the 29 inside the podium, always a threat for a race win. No matter where, he just has not been able to seal the deal just yet. One win in the Octane Series this season, getting it done at Iowa, and looking to take home the checkered flag, this time in the Xfinity cars. A quarter of the way through, he's closer than most to it, just has not been able to lock it down and make it so far. Third place, quarter of the way through. Tire strategy expected very soon. But as we look further back, DJ Stagner, 30 seconds, and it's going to be Christopher Matthews, 24 seconds behind your leader. both of which close to being put one lap down. Stagner's made some big time on Matthews though, so maybe DJ can make some passes here. No caution, very clean. 27 laps in, and so far it looks like your leader remains the same. Anthony DeBarro holds fourth, Matthew Thunhorse there in fourth. Take a look on board with Nicholas Cohan inside the number 21, see how things are going. And right now for the number 21 of Nicholas Cohan inside the 5th position is all red Chevrolet. Of course, it's a Supra now, but it looks like either way, manufacturers be damned. He's having a very good run. Right now finds himself just beyond the podium, and with Thomas Bresci pretty far behind, he's got some time to experiment and see what works and what doesn't. Whenever this number 21 is quick, it shows. Dover, one of his most recent top performances. Cohan was up there until the very end, battling with drivers like Tom Wetmore, and it looks like he's got that same top 5 pace back at the track as we come back to our more traditional style of ovals. Yet again, it's going to be Cohan there, the number 21, and it looks like now that Supra finds himself firmly inside the top 5. Thomas Bresci going to be 6th, with Chad Cole now in the 8th spot. Chad Mikas gets by for 7th. Both Chads going to be running inside the top 10 in consecutive positions, and it looks like they're holding on quite well as well. It's pretty simple right now for these guys. Hold your line, keep it going, and you'll have a shot to come home with a good finish. Very few risky moves have been made. It looks like simply nobody can afford it. We'll see whether or not that changes as time goes on, but it's been tricky. Many drivers having to hold it single file. Aggression level is quite low, and for an intermediate, it's pretty fanned out compared to usual. I think Anthony DeBarro might be one of the few drivers who loves to see it. The DeBarro Sliders, number 27, still leads the way. Looking further back, the closest battle on the racing circuit looks to be Don Stevenson and Jacob Fife. Now, Stevenson works his way down to the bottom side, trying to take the spot, and that he does, but Fife has a bit of momentum. Not too far behind, another battle going to be brewing. That is going to be Alan Dobbs and Brian McFerrin. Dobbs is going to be able to work it down to the bottom side, and Alan's got himself a shot to take it right down low yet again. And as he does so, it looks like he is through. Alan Dobbs going to be able to make it back up into 15th here. Brian McFerrin fades into 16th, and Rob Ackley is now 17th. Ackley, not a very strong qualifying performance for a driver who had race-winning speed last week at Watkins Glen. Rounding out our top 3 last week, he was absolutely the quickest man in that podium. He was charging up to the front, just not a lot of time. Was not able to make it happen at the end of the day, but Ackley not running what he thinks he should. But for a driver who's gotten it done at various different types of tracks already in this series, winning the very first race at Daytona, getting it done in the intermediate in the Clash, he is certainly a driver to keep an eye out for, just getting started. And after a race where he put everyone on notice, I'm sure he's going to be able to get a few more spots as the day goes on. Now up to 16th, making it by Brian McFerrin, 32 laps, 10 out of 100. Another move for Rob Ackley, putting him just outside your top 15. Looking throughout the pack even further right now, no major battles going on. Timothy Johnston right now going to be on the back bumper of Blake Gordon, and that number 13 machine for Gordon running very well inside the top 10, inside the single digits as a matter of fact, and the brand new look for Blake Gordon, drivers are getting used to it. Was the number 48, now is the number 13, and is running very solid all the same. Inside the single digits, and Timothy Johnston is be able to charge up from outside the top dozen to within the top 10, wants to take that spot away. Maybe now's the opportunity, but it looks like he'll have to wait for a mistake. Gordon got very close to a major slip-up before, able to avoid it. Maybe now Johnston's the man who can intimidate him out of the line. maybe take that spot away. As 34 laps in, Anthony DeBarro leads the way with Michael Stroll there in second, Nick Tarbuck in third, and Matthew Thunhorst then in fourth. Top 4 drivers going to be separated by 2.5 seconds. Nicholas Cohan rounds out the top 10, a second away from that number 8. Right now, it looks like for Cody Smith, able to slowly but surely drive himself into the top 20 conversation. Now going to be inside the 21st spot, going for 20th on Casey Shue. He'll work his way up high, and the Next Level Racing number 18 coming into his own. For Cody Smith, the defending Integrity Racing League champion, representing a proud partner at nextlevelracing.com. For dedicated sim racers who want nothing but the best sim racing performance equipment, be sure to visit nextlevelracing.com for all information about the best products in sim racing. The champion of the overall Integrity Octane Series and the Ignite Series for 2023 will win a sim rig worth $2,000 courtesy of Next Level Racing. If you'd like to check them out, visit their website after tonight's broadcast at nextlevelracing.com, as we will be right back following a brief message from our friends at nextlevelracing.com. And as we return for our first promotional break of the night, it's the number 18 of Cody Smith representing Next Level Racing. Once again, check out nextlevelracing.com for more information about sim racing's leading performance equipment. Now, as we get back to the action, 38 laps in, it is still led by Anthony DeBarro, and it looks like so far it has been domination. Looks like right now, unless there is some major pit strategy decisions made, DeBarro's got, so far, the best car by a long shot. 38 laps in, the 38 of Michael Stroll is now in second. Nick Tarbuck is now firmly in third, and you can see the separation now. These drivers are all single file, all keeping it in line, and very little opportunity to make it happen out in front. It looks like the number 81 machine of Brandon Bernhardt's now in 21st. Both Casey Shue and Cody Smith able to get by him, and now Cody is on the charge. Inside the 19th spot might be a bit of a long run Chevy Camaro, and it looks like he is making more time up, more and more, lap by lap. Very good for Cody Smith. Did not look like it was going to be his night, but outside the top 25 and qualifying to inside the top 20 now. Time is still, of course, running out, so to speak. More than half the race still ahead of us, but Cody knows that this is the way this race goes. You've got to keep on pushing. And that time by, he was several tenths of a second faster than both drivers directly ahead of him, being Brian McFerrin and Alec Daffin. So I think he's got the pace for a top 15 night. He's just got to keep on going, because it looks like now very few drivers are quicker than this 18. And just like that, taking a look up front yet again, the lappers are now in play. Jacob Fife, 1 lap down. He's the first man to go into pit road, so he's going to be the first lapper of this event. DJ Stagner very close right now, and you can see he's going to be put a lap down eventually. The way things are going, it looks like he's going to be only able to avoid it for a few more laps. Only 2 retirees so far, both of which look to park it for the day. Joe Dinsmore going to be scored 32nd, and Christopher Matthews is going to be scored in 31st. Both drivers opting to not finish this event and instead working their way down a pit road, covering it just like that. Up in front, it's still DeBarro, and he's chasing down a lapper. How about the battles throughout the field? Let's show you one. Closest one right now on the track going to be Cody Smith and Brian McFerrin. Take a look off the quarter panel shot for the number 7. And off this perspective, you can see Brian McFerrin going to be run down the order, not one, but 2 drivers. McFerrin going to be taken down to the 20th position with Casey Shue and Cody Smith both making it by. So just like that, McFerrin now going to see Boomer Logan right behind. Logan, one of the few drivers who chose not to take a qualifying lap, but he's been able to work his way up quite well. Logan's been one of the drivers we don't mention all too much up in front, but when it clicks, it definitely clicks right. It now seems like that Chevy Camaro is going to find itself just outside the top 20, and as pit strategy begins to come into play, maybe there's a few more spots that Boomer can make up because Knight is still young, and he's got a ways to go until the checkered flag falls. Now Kyle Cooper is going to come in this time by. 43 laps in, the strategy looks to be a 2-stopper as it stands. 43 laps on this run. You cannot get to lap 100 like that. Alan Dobbs going to be able to barely make it in. Nicholas Cohan there as well. And Cohan, number 21, dives in. Alan Dobbs there to follow. Going to be the first wave of drivers coming through. Just like that, the 05 machine's in. Chevy Camaro down to pit road as the leaders pass them by. A few drivers put down a lap already. Strategy is on its way. Now we'll see what it takes to save fuel. 43 laps is not something you can split in a green flag 100 lap race. The way things are going, looks to be no yellow flags unless there's a freak incident later in the going, but so far, many drivers, very clean, very calm, not too much aggression. Right now, strategy looks to be the way to go, so for DeBarro and the leaders, the best thing to do right now is to try and keep it until lap 50 on the track. Splitting it with a one-stop strategy. If you can risk it on this first run, maybe you can make it all the way. However, we're not quite sure if that's the case. Anthony keeps himself on the track. Some drivers already chose to come in. Others, most of the field, keep it out. Now Trevor Trago and Forrest Smith, they're 24th and 25th respectively. Both of them are still on the circuit. They have not come down to pit road. Jacob Fife has. He's now scored in 26th. DJ Stagner, the only driver 1 lap down who's on the track without pitting. He's 27th. Missed the start of the race, so it's not been good for him since then. Forrest Smith dives in with Tyler Hensley, and another group comes in 46 laps into this race. Just like that, DeBarro comes through at the line yet again as your leader. Michael Stroll going to be moving right by the lapper of DJ Stagner, and Nick Tarbuck there in third, going to be just behind the 64, going to take it down to the bottom side, and just like that, it's going to be Nick making it through, putting himself inside the podium. Matthew Thunhorst, Thomas Bresci, and Chad Mikas going to be 4th, 5th, and 6th, and it's a 3-car bundle right now with Chad Cole, the final man, inside this battle just beyond the top 5. And for Chad Cole, it's been a very good race. Number 17 machine, not often do we see it running consistently inside the top 5, the top 10, and right now, it looks like that is the case. For Chad Cole, we've seen some very good runs out of this Ford Mustang before, and it looks like tonight will not be an exception. When it works out quite well as well. It's a similar case to a driver, shall we say someone like, I would have to say that's Casey Shue, running in 16th right now, in one of the better races for the number 4 campaign. You'll see drivers like Travis McQuistion now running in 13th. Not consistent victory contenders, but it's a very stacked field. Competition, it is very high. It's all about making it happen on strategy and on pace. Many factors, so you got to be very talented to keep it up here, and Chad Cole knows it's a tricky field to deal with, but he's running very competitively so far, and right behind some race-winning caliber talent like Chad Mikas, Justin Morton, and your defending winner of Thomas Bresci. 49 laps in, it looks like it will be a one-stop strategy for your race leaders. They've kept it out so far, so they should be able to keep it out for just one more trip around the track. DeBarro's got it, and he will take them down to lap 50. Estimates are showing pit stops coming within the next 5 laps for most of your leaders, just trying to stretch it to that 50th lap here and then go for gold. Michael Stroll going to see some pressure now from Nick Tarbuck, and Tarbuck right now looking like the Michael Stroll of the early race, charging into every battle and trying to take some more spots while he's at it. Just like that, he finds himself to the back bumper of the 38. Take a look on board in just a moment as Blake Gordon comes down a pit road. He'll see Alec Daffin, Casey Shue, and further on back, drivers such as Sean Carmody and the Harley-Davidson number 40 make it in as well. Just like that, another pack comes in at the halfway marker. 50 laps in, 50 laps to go this time by, and you are seeing pit road come alive. One-stop strategy is going to be the move, and halfway throughout this race, no indication of a caution. It has been very clean, and it might be our second race back-to-back without a caution. Watkins Glen, only 40 laps of racing, and it was without a yellow flag. Tonight, 100 laps, a longer distance in terms of mileage, and it looks like it still could be the same situation as Ackley comes in. You'll see he's going to be down and through. Anthony DeBarro there as well. Michael Stroll second, and just like that, only 16 drivers remain on the track without a pit stop. And you're seeing now Brian McFerrin, one of the final drivers to not come in just yet. Now, this is when strategy becomes a bit more interesting. We've seen in this series before, if drivers are out of winning contention, but they want bonus points, they will run it very, very long. Right now, it looks like McFerrin, we're not going to say he's going to do that per se, but there's a chance if he wants some bonus points for leading laps, he'll stick it on the track as many drivers coming this time by. Bressie, Michael Stroll, Nick Tarbuck, Matthew Thunner is going to be there as well. Anthony DeBarro to Michael Stroll, you'll see right behind the leader, and just like that, this is the big race off pit road. The money stop already, the biggest pack coming through, and it looks like for DeBarro, it's going to be a clear exit, winning the race off pit road, just ahead of Michael Stroll, Nick Tarbuck, Matthew Thunhorst, and then Thomas Bressie. Just like that, the 27 on the way, and it's going to be 11th right now according to timing and scoring, waiting for drivers to cycle out. According to our information, it is Nicholas Cohan, effectively the race leader. He came into pit road 8 laps ago. The question is, can he keep it going all the way? For Jacob Fife, this is a very similar run to what he had last week at Daytona. Not in the Ignite Series, but in the Integrity Octane Series. He ran 73 laps without any signs of going down a pit road in an 80-lap race. The race came down to a green flag run, so he lost all his chance to win, never pit until the very last 10 laps. And now he looks to be in a bit of a similar situation. He'll be stranded on strategy in the Pro Powder and Paint number 36 without a caution. Very troublesome if there's no yellow, and that looks to be the way things are going. So Jacob going to try to hold on regardless as he sees Brian McFerrin very quick down to the inside. And just like that, you can see how the new tires are working so well. It has been major fall off for these drivers already. Jacob Fife already down to the 39-second range. For drivers who are still on the track, Brandon Bernhardt scored in third. He just ran a 40-second lap. The fastest lap on the track right now looks to be overall for this session a 37.5 from Michael Stroll. So drivers are several seconds off the pace. Don Stevenson knows it. He's going to call the day on this run and come down to pit road. Cody Smith is your new race leader and finds himself up ahead now in the Next Level Racing Chevrolet with 46 laps remaining. Just like that, it's going to be Cody Smith and Brandon Bernhardt, the only 2 drivers currently still on the way, and they have chosen not to come down to pit road, hoping for a caution, getting some extra time on the board, and trying to get those lead lap bonus points Bernhardt. We'll see how much longer he holds out, as Cody Smith, having some trouble, remains in the lead, choosing not to go down to pit road. Nicholas Cohan is going to be chasing the both of these drivers. The number 21 machine right there on the center of your frame. Now going to be just behind your top two who have not gone down to pit road. Just like that. It's going to be the new tires coming through and the old tires eventually having to come down and be retired. Bernhardt and Cody Smith, the 18 and the 81, both there for the taking, hoping to make it through a few more laps before they're eventually forced down to pit road. Another special paint scheme going to be seen on your frame there. That's Chris Gabone, the number 5 machine. That's Chevrolet Camaro. Hendrick Carr's paint scheme, the same base as the one seen in the real world. However, a different look. You'll see the white and the red representing, of course, the colors of the Japanese flag. Now, we saw a somewhat similar paint scheme on Caitlin Haight's numbered 11 in the Octane Series. It was a throwback to the Red Bull Racing paint scheme seen in 2021, which was scheduled to be in Japan as a representation of the partnership Honda has had with Formula One for over 50 years. Now, in this case, Chris Gabone, I don't believe, is throwing it back to Japan and F1. It's more about Japan, if anything. You can see the name rail, Japanese characters on the number 5. As we try to get a closer up shot of this paint scheme, you'll see on the FDN drone shot here, it's a much different look. Same number, same base, but it's all about the heritage of Japan. Much different look for a special occasion. First international race that Chris Gabone has done in this league, and he's going to take it all in, running currently in 26th. Still a lot of time to make some positions up, so not going to be all too upset for now. Just running his race, trying to make the moves that are necessary, and eventually keep himself in competition until the final lap. 43 laps to go this time around, as Nicholas Cohan at the line is going to be just barely edged out Brian McFerrin, and McFerrin is able to make it through, taking himself just ahead to get back on the lead lap. Just like that, Cohan going to be 2.3 seconds away from Anthony DeBarro. Michael Stroll is 2 seconds off, and Jacob Fife is not too far behind. The question now, is Nicholas Cohan, with 8 laps of older tire compared to DeBarro, able to hold on? It's now apparently in the question. As you can see, Cohan wiggles. It might not be enough. It was a great pit stop strategy, of course, getting himself out early, getting those green flag laps in at a much quicker pace. But now, if his tires can't hold up, it will be all for naught, and DeBarro is charging. That time by, he was 1 second faster on the lap, which is much quicker, of course. With every lap coming down, 1 second a lap is major. Just like that, Anthony DeBarro is now within striking distance. 1.5 seconds separates him and the race leader. Michael Stroll going to be there in 3rd. Nick Tarbuck going to be in 4th, and Jacob Fife going to be there in 5th. As Matthew Thunhorse is in the 6th spot, Tyler Hensley is in 7th, and Alan Dobbs holds on as well. He'll be in 8th, with Thomas Bresci there in 9th. To round out the top 10, Blake Gordon now going to be battling with Justin Morton, and both of these drivers trying to get themselves inside the top 10 conversation yet again. Morton with a very good run at Watkins Glen, one of the few road course ringers, should we say, in this series. He always comes alive when there's a road course, and whenever there is one with the twists and turns, you can't count this number 9 out. It's, of course, Thomas Bresci, who won at Watkins Glen. It's Justin Morton. It's Matthew Thunhorst. And it looks like Rob Ackley coming into his own. He might be one of the drivers up in front contending for road course wins too. See whether or not he becomes a permanent fixture, replacing the likes of Ethan Lane, who was a very good last season at road courses. He was one of the best all-around drivers in this league, putting down the power each and every track. And you need to be an overall driver if you want to win this championship. So for Nicholas Cohan, seeing DeBarro go down to the bottom, not what he'd love to see, but it looks like nothing he can do about it. Down low the new tires go, and they will take it back. Just like that, 10 laps into this run, and Anthony DeBarro leads the way yet again, coming now down to 38 laps to go, and it's about a 38-second lap for Anthony as he reclaims the lead here in the Twin Ring Motegi. And how about the performance so far for Anthony DeBarro? I'll tell you this much, it has been action-packed so far this summer in the Integrity Racing League. Getting back to the action, seeing all the drivers come back into form, and if you want to join the fun, there is a way. First off, before we show you what's going to be on your screen momentarily, iRacing having a 60% discount right now. It is absolutely one of the biggest sales that the sim has ever done. 60% off all 3-month, 12-month, and 24-month subscriptions. This is the best time to buy into the iRacing platform and become one of the many drivers on the sim night after night. If you want to learn more about what it takes in honor of their 15th anniversary as a sim, be sure to check out iRacing.com. All of their information about their 60% off discount is there. In addition, later in the year, I've been given some iRacing registration codes. We'll be giving them out at the end of the year to confirm we weren't able to get them at Watkins Glen. So that will be coming with a major giveaway at the end of the 2023 broadcasting season for us. We've got a lot in store for the fans, not just iRacing codes, but more merchandise from Watkins Glen. We've got hats, we've got programs, we've got all of the above. We're going to try to ship it all out to the fans later in the going, but right now, one more thing to keep an eye out for. The NASCAR newsletter for all iRacing information relating to stock car racing on the platform. Be sure to check out the QR code on your screen. If you can scan it, that is fantastic. If you can't, tell you what, we'll begin putting it in the descriptions of our streams. Didn't think of that before, but we'll make sure you can read the NASCAR newsletter. It's easy to sign up for. Just put in your email and you'll get all the information about the top levels of sim racing, like the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series, where drivers battle for $300,000. The NASCAR College Series coming soon. If you're a driver on the sim looking to represent your college or university, check it out. They're giving out scholarship money. One of our great friends from FTN, Terry Radford's on the call. Great series to be a part of. You don't have to be a pro to be there in the NASCAR world. Check it all out. All the info on the NASCAR newsletter on the QR code on your screen. Now, taking a look further up to the field yet again, you'll see Anthony DeBarro right there in the number 27. Looking at Kyle Cooper right now. They're side by side, the 73 not having the best of nights so far. Kyle going to be there in the 27th position as he gets lapped now by the number 27 machine. Cooper right now one of the few drivers a lap down on pace, and it looks like the strategy not working all too well for him. And according to our timing and scoring, his time on pit road only 1 second slower than that of your race leader. Spent the exact same time on the pit box. However, entering and exiting, he lost about a half second each way in and out. Those tenths of seconds are what matter the most in terms of strategy. Now, of course, 27 positions, you don't win or lose that by like 1 second. That's a very major thing that happens over the course of a race. But if you don't make sure you're perfect all throughout, you're going to lose some time and lose it big. Right now for Nick Tarbuck, his time on pit road was a 43.1. Comparing that to Michael Stroll's 42.3, 8/10 of a second is the good majority of their gap, which is only about 1 second and 2/10 between one another. If Tarbuck got the exact same jump off pit road, it might have been that much closer, and maybe it could have been up there fighting for second. Right now, 69 laps in, it's been a nice run for Anthony DeBarro, and it looks like he'll blink out momentarily, but no worry for your race leader as he comes through yet again to put more drivers 1 lap down. Cody Smith right in front of him, trying to keep himself inside the top 25, currently scored in 25th. And once again for Next Level Racing, the number 18 machine of Cody Smith representing the best sim racing equipment on the market for dedicated sim racers who want nothing but the best. Visit nextlevelracing.com for more information as we'll bring you their second promotional break of the night from our friends yet again at Next Level Racing. as we come through the next level racing, number 18 of Cody Smith back on the frame as it stands. 30 laps remaining in the Do The Move Podcast 100. It's been domination of the Twin Ring so far. The International Series, of course, we've gone from Japan to the United States, back and forth, time and time again. We've gone to the Nürburgring. For the first time this season, though, we're out from the United States, and it's been an oval race, so a bit different scenery and a bit different of a scenario right now for many drivers not able to adapt all too well. How about the driver up in front, though? DeBarro leads by 2.2 seconds, and his consistency has been unmatched. Take a look on board with Nick Tarbuck right now. As you can see, there's a battle right ahead of him. Let's see exactly what he's doing to manage the gap right now, currently holding on to third. And right now, it looks like Tarbuck able to make it by the lapper of Brandon Bernhardt. Bernhardt not having the best of nights either. Currently finds himself scored in position number 26th. So he's not too far behind guys like Brian McFerrin and Cody Smith on the timing sheet. For Nick Tarbuck, that time by, he was 0.2 of a second quicker than Michael Stroll. The gap between them is slowly but surely beginning to shrink. And it looks like so far, things are beginning to become a bit closer here for the second position. Time is not running out, of course, as quick as some guys would like it to, but for the leaders, they'd certainly love a bit more time to battle amongst themselves and make it happen. 74 laps in, 27 laps to go. For these guys up ahead, I'm sure the time has been flying. Everyone else a bit more arduous, but it looks like for Anthony DeBarro, he has been perfect so far, leading just about every lap on the day, and it's very similar to his performance last time we had an intermediate race at Charlotte, able to lead over 75 laps at the very minimum. As a matter of fact, I think he was able to go into the triple digits in a race that had 180 green flag laps in succession. DeBarro able to take home at least half of those laps and come home with the final win of the 2023 A season. Now he's looking to get himself a victory early, and he's had no competition all night long. Just like that, DeBarro putting himself in contention for a championship early. Maybe he's got what it takes to lock it in tonight. It ain't over till it's over, yes, but nobody has been able to stop him, and it looks like the gap continues to expand to Michael Stroll. Stroll now going to be in a bit more trouble as Nick Tarbuck finds himself now just about 0.2 of a second behind. Looks to be the gap that is ever shrinking. The number 29 machine of Nick Tarbuck still there in the back bumper. You can see Michael Stroll right there as well. 25 laps remaining now for the leaders. It looks like the battle for second is continuing to heat up. Just like that, it's going to be the 29 right there to the back bumper. Taking a look further onward, Thomas Bressi going to be in the 6th spot right now. Not much competition for him. He's been working on getting back up to Nicholas Cohan all race long. Early in the going, we saw them both just about a half second apart. Now it's more like 1/10 of a second. It looks like Bressi's much quicker, and it looks like those old tires are very, very shot for the number 21. Looks like not much more grip. And when that number 21 goes up to the high side, Nicholas Cohan, nothing he can do but wash up the track and wait to get back down. Clearly suffering from a lack of grip right now, Cohan is, and he gets passed quickly by Thomas Bressi, putting Bressi up into 5th. It's been a very good recovery effort, though, for Nicholas Cohan to stay inside the top 10. By all accounts, he is struggling even worse now, trying to go up to the high side, get a different arc through the corner. What does he get there? Not much at all. Big time trouble, and it looks like Cohan continuing to slip down the order, now seeing pressure from Justin Morton. And DeBarro leading the way down the stretch, 23 laps to go, going to make it 22 this time by, and for the first time overseas, we'll take a crank it up courtesy of track cams for Gormits, the best cameras on the iRacing platform, uninterrupted on FTN, as we say hello to our crank it up for tonight. Let's get it loud and crank it up with 22 laps to go, courtesy of track cams for Gormits. And now with only 18 laps remaining, Anthony DeBarro has continued his clinic and nobody has stopped him. It looks like now the number 27 has a near 3-second advantage over Nick Tarbuck. And right now, it's a big pack right behind. Take a look at the action here. It's going to be Michael Stroll with Jacob Fife and then Chris Cabot, Brandon Bernhardt, and Forrest Smith. Most of those drivers are lap machines, but right now, it looks like one leader gets away. That's going to be a big break for Michael Stroll here. Thunhorst in fourth is far behind, and Jacob Fife trying to work the high side of the number 38. It's a lap machine up top, leader right down low, and it looks like for Michael Stroll, it's going to be a challenge to hold on here. Multiple drivers putting one lap down in one bundle. Gael Brooks going to be 20th, Brian McFerrin 21st, Jacob Fife 22nd, Chris Cabot 23rd with Brandon Bernhardt 24th, and Ben Forrest Smith 25th. A big bundle comes the way of Michael Stroll, and it looks like now only a total of 19 drivers remain on the lead lap, going back to Cody Smith, and Smith able to keep himself there, chasing down Casey Shue. Both drivers had some pace with one another earlier in the going, but now they're separate yet again, and it looks like they're finding themselves later in the race. DeBarro now 16 laps remaining. He finds himself slowly but surely pulling away even still. Nick Tarbuck is still second, Michael Stroll third, and for one of the most calm races we've seen all of this year, it's been a shocker to see that in all of it, DeBarro has held on. One of our more aggressive drivers. He risks it night after night going for the win. He's one of the guys who's very aggressive, and it's about a winner-go-home mentality. But ironically, in our most calm race this year in all honesty, he has been out there up in front with no trouble. Now the question really becomes, how big is the air displacement playing a factor? Passing has been a challenge all night long. If someone doesn't slip up, you're basically guaranteed your position or the position right after. Otherwise, it's really been nothing right now. And for DeBarro, it's a great thing, but I'm telling you this much, the drivers behind him will not be too happy. It's the game they're playing right now, quite literally, and the surface of iRacing sometimes not representing air all too well, as dirty air can become a major factor at tracks that are not all too optimized. The oval refresh is coming in about 2 weeks' time. A major update expected to hit the iRacing platform in just a few weeks, starting early September. Rain is expected to come, an overhauled weather system, and in addition, an overhaul to the oval system. How big that will be remains to be seen, and right now for Anthony DeBarro, he knows that regardless of how the oval cars work, he's working them really well right now. No fluke, I should say. It might not be represented in terms of his overall statistics. A driver with only one win being this dominant might be a bit surprising, but I wouldn't put it out of the question. DeBarro, when he's on, can put it down and put it away, and it looks like right now the race lead has not been in the question for 88 laps time. It just seems to be a matter of time until DeBarro locks it in for one race, and then he comes into his own and comes home with the checkered. He did it a bit too late last season. It was Charlotte, the final race of the season, the championship finale. Not much more that he could do, but right now, so early in the going, getting that momentum and building off of what he had last season is a great thing. His second win this year, his first win this season. He doesn't do it if he wants to lock it in, but there's still some time before it all comes to a close. Can he lock it out? Or will there be another competitor late in the going? That remains to be seen, as Nick Tarbuck holds fort in second, Michael Stroll third, Matthew Thunhorst there in fourth, and Thomas Bressie rounds out the top five here, with Justin Morton right behind in sixth, and a very nice run for Timothy Johnston, the number 82, able to make it up into seventh in the USAA Toyota Supra. Some big moves up in front for a lot of these drivers. Johnston able to make it multiple positions, climbing lap after lap, but for most drivers, otherwise, it's been consistency. If you started somewhere, you're most likely to stay there, but we're going to talk about a few other anomalies. Boomer Logan has been on the way all throughout the night, and just like that, he now finds himself in 16th. Not bad at all for a driver who qualified outside the top 25. Now puts himself in the equation for a top 15. Right behind defending winner Travis McQuistion, Boomer now puts himself inside the top 20. And after the worst races you can imagine, of course, with Rex involving himself, of course, Daytona, Watkins Glen, the pace was just not there. Now, after a not-so-great start, Boomer's putting it back together, and that's exactly what you need to do if you're in that National Guard Chevrolet. Put yourself in the mentality that you can keep on going, continue to compete, and it looks like for Boomer, he's right up there again. 16th spot, just outside the top 15 as the leader comes by. He might be next to be put a lap down. Only a few drivers just ahead of him to give him a bit of cover. It is now 9 laps remaining. And for Anthony DeBarro leading the way as he comes up on Cody Smith. Smith right now is the final driver on the lead lap. And with 9 laps remaining, we'll give you your final Next Level Racing promotional break of the day. Yet again, Next Level Racing for high-quality sim racing performance products that are used by the dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best. Visit nextlevelracing.com for more information, as we will be right back for the final time with now only 8 laps remaining. the number 18 of Cody Smith, with 7 laps to go, finds himself the final driver on the lead lap in the 19th position, and just seconds behind Anthony DeBarro. Your race leader has kept his clinic in operation. 7 laps remaining for the driver who's led from the get-go. From the pole position, it has been a fantastic performance. Nothing more to say for DeBarro so far. He just wants to wrap it up in one piece, as he now sees Jacob Fife trying to work down to the inside line. It's a lapper. No need to race him. Now on the quarter panel view for the first time tonight, Anthony might be passed, but it looks like it's going to be the driver of the 36 who lets off and lets go. Jacob knows at this point there's not much more you can do but sit in the toe of the leader, and that might be the best thing to do right now, learning from the best. Drivers are always learning and always adapting in their environment. Right now, no difference. Jacob Fife, while the league owner here in the Integrity Racing League, can still learn a thing or two from his drivers, and even though he's been able to come home on top as a winner before, may as well try to sit behind the current race leader if he wants to gain any positions. So far, doing a pretty good job of just that. My apologies there. The straightaways here, they are sweepers. And right now, it looks like Jacob Fife using that draft to keep himself going with 5 laps to go. The best place to be is behind the leader, getting that draft and putting yourself in position to maybe grab a spot or two. Slim opportunity, very small chance, but right now it's the best they can get for a driver 1 lap down. DeBarro still leads Jacob Fife around the track. As you can see, Nick Tarbuck is actually gaining a bit more. It's about 1.5 seconds right now separating these drivers. You can see Nick Tarbuck is going to be in the 2nd spot, slowly but surely making his way up there. Anthony DeBarro with 4 laps to go, though, just within arm's reach, is the leader for once, and it looks like the final shutout laps might not come without a battle. Tarbuck knows what it's like to come through in the final few laps and make a charge, but he'd have to be perfect. He's about 1/10 of a second faster each and every lap, but he'd have to be more like 1/2 second faster lap after lap for any opportunity. Right now, simply not quick enough to make it stick for that race lead. But if there's a mistake, Jacob Fife is right there, and he might send that 27 out of sorts. We'll see what he does here, as it's now only a total of 3 laps remaining. DeBarro takes him through 1 and 2 yet again, and Jacob Fife stays right behind. Now it's only 12/10 of a second. And just like that, it looks like trouble for Matthew Thunhorst's internet. He's dropping in and out right now. Not quite sure if he's got good enough connection to finish this race. Scored in 4th, but he's dropping all throughout the field. Might not be able to make it home in one piece. Big risk for Thunhorst, and we can't even focus on it because he's most often out of the track as compared to in it. DeBarro's in the wall. 2 laps to go. Jacob Fife goes down low, and it looks like Anthony DeBarro gonna tap the wall for the very first time. He'll go up high, and just like that, it could be trouble for your race leader, who has to sit right in, and now finds himself a huge opportunity. Nick Tarbuck does. How about this? Tarbuck now working his way down. It's going to be the backstretch with 7/10 of a second to make up. It looked like a pipe dream just a few laps ago, and all of a sudden, things have changed. It's now going to be Anthony in that number 27, working his way down the back yet again to the front stretch, and this would make the race official. No cautions in back-to-back races. 1 lap to go. Anthony DeBarro trying to hold on with a 6/10 of a second advantage, but it's beginning to wane. Now it looks like Tarbuck's going to have to use everything he's got in store. 1/2 second, and the draft is there too. Maybe there's a chance. Nick Tarbuck, pushing as hard as he can, is going to use it all down the backstretch. Maybe lunge it through. This is the final opportunity. DeBarro goes through 3 and 4. Anthony has that lead, and it looks like it's going to stay that way. Going out of turn 4, it has been domination all night long, and it looks like there's no driver better to take the checkered flag in Japan than Mr. Intermediate. Back-to-back 1.5-mile wins for Anthony DeBarro, winning the Do The Move Podcast 100 here in the Twin Ring Motegi. No cautions, dominance all the way, and strategy, pace, all lined up. It's Anthony DeBarro back in victory lane for the first time this season. And just like that, Navarro comes through what might be the league's cleanest race. According to our timing, no drivers had any incident points, and it's Navarro who comes home on top of one of the cleanest events I've seen here on iRacing. 100 laps in the Twin Ring Motegi. It's uncharted territory for many of these drivers. They drove like veterans, and for Navarro, it was pure dominance. How about that? Back-to-back wins in these mile-and-a-half tracks, of course, winning. It was first at Charlotte last season, and after taking several months off from these types of tracks, he's back yet again in victory lane. How about that for Anthony Navarro, winning by half a second over Nick Tarbuck, with Michael Stroll third, Thomas Bressi in fourth, and Justin Morton in fifth. Stick around for top three interviews momentarily, as Timothy Johnston is sixth, it's Don Stevenson seventh, and Chad Cole eighth, with Rob Ackley position number 9. Then going to be Tyler Hensley in the 10th spot, with 11th being held by Chad Mikas. It's Alec Daffin 12th, Blake Gordon 13th, Travis McQuistion 14th, and Boomer Logan 15th, as Cody Smith comes home in then the 16th position, as Casey Shue is 17th, it's Sean Carmody in 18th, and Jacob Fife position number 19, the final man on the lead lap. Gael Brooks is 20th, with Brian McFerrin then 21st, and Brandon Bernhardt in 22nd. Alan Dobbs comes home 23rd, with Chris Cabot 24th, and Forrest Smith then 25th, and it'll be Kyle Cooper 27th, DJ Stagner 28th, and Matthew Thunhorst 29th, as your retirees go as follows. Nicholas Cohan comes home 30th, Christopher Matthews comes home 31st, and Joe Dinsmore retires 32nd and last. 74 laps down here in the Do the Move Podcast 100. And now time for your race winner to burn down the house. Here's Anthony Navarro coming down to the start-finish line, ready to get the celebration underway. And as Anthony Navarro comes down to pit road to put his number 27 Toyota Supra to rest, it might be one more burnout here, but it looks like it won't be. Backing it in after a successful night in Japan, dominance from Navarro brings him his first win of the season, and we'll be right back with your top 3 interviews after a brief message from iRacing Motorsport Simulations. Thank you all for your support so far. Stick around for your podium, as they will have interviews momentarily. We'll be right back on FTN.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And just like that, from the Twin Ring Motegi, dominance in the form of a victory here for Anthony DeBarro. Last time we went racing at 1.5 miles before tonight, Charlotte, it was the number 27 on top then, and it looks like here in Japan, he's on top now. Back-to-back here in the intermediates, Anthony DeBarro, how do you feel after this one?
I'm sweating way too much for playing a video game, I'll say that. No, it was a good race. I mean, applaud all the guys in the field for going caution free. I mean, that was a lot of work, and 29 was he was coming. I think I just didn't do too good of a job getting through lap traffic. I was too patient, but I mean, what a night! It was a good race, start to finish. We had short run, long run pace. I think I could be a little better on the tires for the long run, but overall, I'm glad to bring it home.
And they would bring it home with a very solid run here. Strategy quite basic, only one stop for just about every driver. The big thing was keeping you out in front with that pace. Seems like nobody able to catch you on those longer runs, simply able to stretch the gap. And that looked to be the ticket to victory here, even with the late race charge right behind you.
Yeah, I think we got lucky getting the pole and just being out front. I think everyone's so good here, and track. We all have the same setup in the race car, so essentially it's just track position and not making any mistakes and not speeding in the pits, any of those, the normal stuff. And we were able to execute and bring it home.
And execution is key, and so early in the championship, able to get this win out of the way. That's a big thing. Of course, last season you did win, but it was the last race of the season. Not much more you could do. Now you've got a head full of steam. Momentum is there. North Wilkesboro is next. What is it going to take to keep this momentum rolling and maybe get a good run as well at the throwback track in NASCAR?
Well, 3 top 5s to start the year. I mean, that's a lot better than the earlier season this year. But I honestly feel more confident on a short track than I do a 1.5 miles, and we've been winning on the intermediate. So the field better watch out. We're going to be showing up next week.
And it looks like a lot of confidence after a great win here in the Do the Move Podcast 100. Anthony DeBarro comes home untouchably so, winning here in Japan. Any final thoughts to wrap off this interview?
Yeah, thank you guys at FTM and the admins for putting this whole deal on. For we're here to have fun, and everyone takes their time on a Monday night, and we all come out and shoot the shit and have fun. And I'd like to give a shout out to the real 27, Ray. You know who you are. This is someone that's listening to the broadcast.
Well, there we have it. Anthony DeBarro with a special shout out. The number 27 on track for DeBarro Sliders comes home, slicing and dicing with a victory here at the Twin Ring Motegi. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.
There we have it. Anthony going to be on the way there. First place for the 27 and second for Nick Tarbuck. A very hard charge at the end of this race, and it was looking very good. It looks like only half a second. The gap was closed. There was a shot in play, I'll say. And for Nick Tarbuck, second place here, looked very good at the end of the going. Just a few tenths back on what could have been the first win of the season.
Yeah, man, it was a great race. Again, I think last year we did pretty well here too. My kind of track, long straights, slow down pretty hard for the corners. Yeah, if I got more lucky with the lap traffic there, I just was more confident in braking for 3 and keeping it easy off of 4, I might have had him. But hey, it was a good race. Can't complain with second.
And right, can't complain. It's a great points night here for you. And even throughout this final run, you made up several positions. Guys like Michael Stroll, Justin Morton, Thomas Bresci, all those who were running up in front. You were clawing through and eventually found yourself alone in second. How was it working with the pack here? Most guys on the same strategy trying to find that edge.
Yeah, it was great though. I mean, honestly, working with the team, getting some good advice with brake bias and with all that really helped out. But yeah, it was really fun cutting through the field there. That's why I like these tracks where braking is prominent, because you have a lot of chance to make moves if you're decent under braking. Yeah. So it was really fun dicing through the field. Really nice, respectful racing. Can't complain there at all. Definitely more fun than losing positions.
And certainly holding on for a great run here. Much better than losing positions. Second place, podium in the back here. It's going to be up to North Wilkesboro as we head back to the States. What's going to take to keep the power down and go for another podium or even a win?
North Wilkesboro is going to be crazy, but I don't know. Short tracks usually aren't my thing, but we'll see how it goes. I'm thinking later on in the season there's a few good chances for a win, though. So just got to keep running strong. Got to keep the car clean and keep everybody else happy, and then we'll be good to go.
And keeping the 29 at the front of the field, Nick Tarbuck finds himself in second place here at the Twin Ring Motegi. Anything more you'd like to add on here? Anyone else you'd like to thank after this race?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for broadcasting, as always. Thanks for the admins putting on a good race. Thanks my teammates for helping me out throughout the race. Thanks to everybody who watched, and we'll see you all next week.
And there we have it. Nick Tarbuck's number 29 comes home second place here, middle of the podium in the Do the Move Podcast 100. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Having Nick Tarbuck on the way, only one more driver inside the podium for the first time this season. Michael Stroll finds himself back within the top 3 confines. Very nice run for the golden AC Delco machine. Special paint scheme and a great run. Michael Stroll, how do you feel after this race?
Oh man, the AC Delco Gold car was good tonight. After the first 2 weeks of, me putting it in the wall, I really needed a top 5 run tonight. That's what I got. So I'm real happy with that. See where I shake out the points. I really wish I could have kept the tires under it long enough to run there with the bar a lot closer and pick up, have a chance at the win. But once I realized I couldn't, or once I realized I didn't have anything for him, I just scaled back a little bit and got a solid top 5. Teammate Nick almost got him. That at the end was really cheering him on, but it's a solid top 5, and looking forward to next week at North Wilkesboro. And also real proud of this whole series for running caution free. That was awesome.
And back-to-back caution-free races, so it's been all about putting it together in the long run. Of course, Watkins Glen, a road course, so it's almost a given there. But here in the Oval, I'm not quite sure if I expected it. We saw a lot of more long, thought-out racing for these drivers. You couldn't really be as aggressive in the short term. You had to think it through and make those passes over time. So how was it adopting that mentality here in Japan?
Yeah, I mean, this track isn't easy. Each end of the speedway is completely different from the other, and you really had to manage your tires. And some guys were shifting. I myself was not, but it was hard to manage. Again, real proud of everyone in this league. 32 guys to go caution free for 100 laps is nothing to sneeze at. So I'm sure it'll be a little different next week when we go to North Wilkesboro at the short track, but. As an admin of this series, real confident in this group that we can keep putting on clean, competitive races. And so far, we got the parity that we're looking for. So three races, 3 different winners. So things are looking good for this series. As for myself, just got to keep marching and clicking off these top 5s. Hopefully, I can pick up at least one win somewhere. And get in the top 16 because my golden tracks or my good tracks are really in the clash in those last 5 races. So just gonna keep clicking off these last 7 weeks we got here and see where it shakes out.
And looking to keep this momentum going, as I mentioned, need these good points nights to make it into the clash. How confident are you heading into North Wilkesboro?
Just gotta stay out of trouble. I'm pretty decent at short tracks. I think the last short track I ran in this league was Richmond, and I had a top 5 there. So just also depends on the mood of the league and if we got a full moon or not. See how it works out for us in the AC Delco car, and I'll try to help the rest of my teammates out get up to speed, and hopefully we can have another solid night like we did tonight. All 5 of our cars tonight, we're in the top 15. 3 of us in the top 10. So. Just real proud of my team, real proud of this league. Just a real good, solid night, clean. No one's complaining, no one's bitching. Discord is quiet. Everyone's happy. And move on to next week.
And there we have it. Moving on to next week after a very calm night here in the Twin Ring Motegi. Michael Stroll with a very solid top 3 finish. Anything more you'd like to add after tonight's race?
Nope, I'm all good. I'm just going to go take a shower and catch up on some sleep. So have a good night.
And there we have it. Michael Stroll rounds out the top 3 here in the Do the Move Podcast 100. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Michael Stroll on the way, the final man inside the top 3. Stroll finishes in the 3rd spot with Nick Tarbuck 2nd, and your race winner, Anthony DeBarro, coming home on top here in Japan. Our first international trip of the season, and it's another great race here in the Ignite Series. Tomorrow night will be the Octane Series coming back into play. Keep an eye out for another great race at Watkins Glen. It'll be the virtual Glen coming back into form, and stay tuned for that as we will put up all our links for the remainder of the week very soon. Getting back to business here on FTN, going to be another great racing week as things get on their way, kicking off tonight in the Ignite Series and the 4-0 Truck Series. And how about that? Anthony DeBarro gets it done tonight, and we thank you all for watching here on FTN. As always, I've been your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz. Great to be alongside you here on the channel, and if you enjoyed the action here, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It would always be greatly appreciated. From our studios to your houses and your homes, of course, we hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation of the Integrity Octane Series, and we'd love to have you back for our next event tomorrow night as a viewer yet again. Be sure to keep an eye out for all future FTN streams, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation, and we hope to see you all yet again on FTN. Thank you all for your support, and we hope you have a great night.